Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tracing the wild journey of a simple typographical symbol, how it literally built the attention economy, and why, honestly, we need a brand new one for the future. We're going to look under the hood at the hidden architecture of how we gather, speak, and build value online.
So let's dive right into this. Think back for a second. Before search algorithms were hyper-accurate, before AI could instantly watch a video and know exactly what it was about, how did scattered voices all over the globe suddenly find each other online? How did you take what was basically a scream into the digital void and turn it into a coordinated, searchable public conversation?
Well, it was this, the humble hashtag. It's essentially a tiny linguistic machine that turned ordinary, everyday speech into searchable public infrastructure. You see, in the early days of social media, the machines couldn't really understand everything we were saying, so we struck a bargain, right? We gave the algorithm a label, and the platform gave us visibility in return. But here's the crazy part. This symbol wasn't actually born on the internet.
Which brings us to Section 1, From Wait to Web. Let's look at the hidden history of this symbol.
You see, the hashtag wasn't cooked up by social media executives in some Silicon Valley boardroom. It actually started way back as a medieval abbreviation for the Latin wait libra-pondo. Wild, right? Fast forward to the 1960s, and Bell Labs engineers needed a special function key for their fancy new touch-tone phones. So they stuck it right next to the zero and jokingly called it the octothrop. By the 1990s, early internet pioneers were using it in internet relay chat just to group shared topic channels. So it had already become a sort of boundary marker for a public room long before Chris Messina even pitched it for social media in 2007.
Moving on to Section 2, the age of attention, building the networked public.
Now, what's really fascinating about this phase is how the users, not the tech platforms themselves, actually forced the hashtag into the mainstream. On August 23, 2007, a technologist named Chris Messina literally sent this exact pitch on Twitter. At first, the platform totally brushed it off. They said it was just for nerds. But then, users organically started using the symbol to track real-time updates during the massive 2007 San Diego wildfires. It completely proved its worth as a crucial tool for crisis coordination. Twitter ultimately had absolutely no choice but to hyperlink it by 2009, which cemented this whole new global filing system.
And man, did the ideas spread like wildfire. Every single platform quickly adopted the symbol, though its actual function shifted pretty dramatically depending on what the app's core architecture was all about. On text-first platforms like Twitter, it was a clickable search link driving discovery. Over on Instagram, it organized visual albums for super niche communities. But on TikTok, it evolved into just a tiny hint for their massive video-first AI algorithms. The symbol basically adapted perfectly to whatever type of attention economy it was dropped into.
That leads us to Section 3, movements, culture, and marketing. The hashtag as a civilizational interface.
So the symbol quickly became way more than just a digital filing system. It became a massive cultural powerhouse. Linguistically, it's doing multiple really complex jobs all at the exact same time. Sure, it categorizes topics like a library index, like education or Throwback Thursday, but it also acts as a motive commentary. Think of a sarcastic blessed or awkward. It became an organizing banner for huge decentralized activism. And, super powerfully, it acted as a multilingual bridge across diverse publics, uniting English, Hindi, and regional scripts in massive movements. It basically compresses these huge, complex identity positions into one compact, highly replicable little package.
But, impartially viewing its impact, we definitely see a dual nature here. On the one hand, the hashtag beautifully lowered coordination costs for global movements, allowing leaderless rallying cries to unite millions. That is huge. But on the other hand, we really have to look at the risks. Because it's a totally open public index, it exposed users to hashjacking by opposing factions, performative slacktivism, where, a simple click replaces actual real-world action, and even severe state surveillance, where authorities can easily track dissenters.
Okay, Section 4, the algorithmic demotion, when the machine learned to read.
The reality is, every symbol belongs to a specific age, and as we move deeper into the AI era, the hashtag is actually being quietly demoted. Platforms simply don't need us to explicitly tag our posts anymore. Modern recommendation systems and large language models, they can read our captions, analyze the pixels in our videos, process our audio, and just infer our intent completely automatically. The machine layer no longer thinks in hashtags, it thinks in high-dimensional vectors and complex behavioral profiles. The hashtag is absolutely losing its monopoly on classification.
To put that into a practical perspective, consider this simple number 5. That is the maximum limit of hashtags TikTok recently capped per post. Now, why would they do that? Because endless blocks of tags just don't drive algorithmic reach anymore. If hashtags disappeared completely tomorrow, the performance on modern AI feeds would barely even change. The era of explicitly tagging everything just hoping to be seen, well, it's pretty much ending.
Which brings us to Section 5, the Internet of Value, the need for a new symbolic grammar.
So if the hashtag perfectly organized the attention economy, we have to ask ourselves, what symbol is going to organize the incoming well-becoming economy? We are in the middle of a massive shift from classification to interpretation. We're moving away from the hashtag, which measures what you are talking about, optimizing for trends, virality, and frankly noise, and we're moving toward the tilde. This is the symbol of the Internet of Value. The tilde actually measures what you are building, your contributions, your actual lived value, and the traces of your effort within a protocol you actually consent to.
And that takes us to Section 6, from trend to trace. Introducing the tilde.
This brings us to the very core of the next internet, and a symbol perfectly suited to become its home marker. But why the tilde, right? Well, visually and philosophically, it does some pretty profound work. First, it implies a wave of continuous flow, reminding us that humans are dynamic states across time, not just static digital profiles. In mathematics, it means approximation, which beautifully protects us against the false precision of reducing human life to rigid bureaucratic metrics. It suggests a relationship between your time, your skills, and your community. And just like in computing, it acts as a home directory, locating your unique signal securely inside a specific value system.
Plus, it introduces a strict but beautifully simple grammar. One tilde identifies the overarching protocol. 2 tildes identify the node. 3 tildes identify the facet. And 4 tildes identify the specific signal. So it's a 4-tiered hierarchy. It takes the messy, beautiful reality of human well-becoming and gracefully translates it into a structured, machine-readable protocol. But crucially, without losing its soul.
Let me explain exactly how this works in practice. Instead of just typing hashtag fitness into the algorithmic void, just hoping to be monetized by some platform, a tilde native signal precisely maps your living effort. Take this example. Your body mass index isn't just floating data anymore. It's carefully located within the movement facet, the physiology node, and the Wellbecoming protocol. It's mapped directly into a value stack that you actually own, interpret, and completely consent to. Talk about a real game changer.
So I'll leave you with this provocative thought as we transition from trends to traces. We are leaving an era that valued us solely for our attention, and we're entering a brand new era that maps our genuine human growth. The next internet won't just ask what you're talking about, it will literally ask what you are becoming. The real question is, are you ready for an internet that measures your true value?